Alrighty. Hello everyone. Today we will be continuing our course on Python mini projects. So last week we ran over the Python game the very first time, and we kind of saw how it was going to work, and we made sure we knew how to install everything so it would be in a working environment. So if you still have any problems, feel free to say them, and I'll do my best to answer these questions / problems. This week, the goal is to go ahead and explain some of the code as well as start almost rewriting it so we can get the experience for ourselves. So the first thing we need to do is open up PyCharm. So one of the important things to learn when we go ahead and do programming is to know where we can access our resources. So if you're to go and just casually search up tic-tac-toe in Python, in Python, and we get a lot of these kind of articles, pages with all these tidbits of information going, this is how you go ahead and you can write your own Python code. There's even some videos that help you kind of guide you along. But sometimes you just kind of want to look at the code and study it for yourself. And the main websites for this are going to be Geeks for Geeks. It's a pretty good website. Usually has the solutions in multiple languages. So whether it be Python, Java, C++, so it's just a good website for programming overall in these main languages. The next one is going to be Stack Overflow. Stack Overflow has the answers to pretty much all of your small problems, debugging errors. So Stack Overflow will have the answer to that for sure. All you need to do is Google it, and then there'll most likely be at least one Stack Overflow reply to it. And once you go ahead and you find that, it's very easy to kind of debug and fix from that stage. The next thing is that's kind of a good summary of the different things that we can go ahead and do. So I see ZP. So you had a problem. It said you tried to run the tic-tac-toe code, and it said that one part of it was wrong. So if we go over here, I can go ahead and switch the code right here. Alright, so within this code, it's a pretty decent length of code. It's 250 lines, so no small feat here. There's a lot of notes here, so I would assuming after all the notes, the spaces are taken away, it'll be about 150 lines long, maybe a little shorter than that. There's not much code to it, so it's fairly easy to go over. Now, the one part that is going to that might be wrong is the parts right over here when defining your images. So I'll give you a second to find that if you're trying to follow along right now. Maybe 30 seconds to go and check that out yourself, and then I'm going to go ahead and explain how you fix this. Alright, so hopefully you're able to find this. And just to kind of confirm, what's going to happen is I'm going to show you where you're supposed to access the code yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up for you. I should pull this out. right here. So this is the GitHub that the link that was sent through the email last week, and this is kind of the first thing you see. You might be signed in, and I'm not right now. It doesn't really matter. So you'll see that this is the profile name that pushed the code into this, and it's under the folder Python mini projects. And you have two things over here. This PDF is just a flyer. You can go ahead and open that up, and you can see that it's just a flyer. So we can go back, and we want to open up tic-tac-toe. So first things first is when we go ahead and this is going to be the actual code. You can know this by looking at this and seeing that it has a .py after it. These are .png, .jfif, and another .jfif, meaning that these are all pictures. So we want to open up the actual code, and if you were to look closely at where that kind of portion was before, we can see that it's going to be right here, lines 56 through 58. And the important thing to know when dealing with this kind of stuff is what exactly does all of this mean, right? Well, these are going to be the names of the pictures that are going to be put into your program. Just like if I were to go ahead and run my program, what I would be presented with is this picture that I put over here, right? And we know that it's our picture because if we go into our file and we open up our Python mini projects and we open up our modified cover here, we can see that this is indeed the picture that we put in here. So just to kind of go over the how this process works, first thing is when you go into your folder here, if you use PyCharm, it will be organized like this. If you don't, you probably won't have these folders over here. And we have our first program. This was Hello World, and this one just printed Hello World. And the second one was tic-tac-toe, and this tic-tac-toe requires 3 images: the modified cover, O modified, and X modified. If we are to go back and look at the code over here, we can see that it has the names identical to those inside our folder. And in case you didn't know how to add those or search those yourself, we added them over here, and you can go ahead and just download it for yourself. Oops. And so these were the 3 pictures, but in case you want to do some of your own pictures, here is how you do it. First thing first is you're going to want to get the picture. We can go ahead and Google for these pictures, tic-tac-toe, and Python prefers PNG, so we'll just add PNG after that. And we have all these pictures here. We can choose any one we want. We can go ahead, we can choose this picture over here. So what you want to do is you want to right click, you see all these options, and you want to click on Open Image in New Tab. This will give you how big the image is without any of the resizing. Google has a tendency to resize the images so you don't actually know how big the image is. So once you go ahead and you open the image in a new tab, you want to right click again, and you want to click Save Image As. And you'll see 2 things. You'll see the first part where it has the file name, and you'll see the second part of the type. We can see over here that we have our type as PNG. Now the second thing to pay attention to is the name over here that we have. This is stored inside our Python mini projects, or where our program code is shown. However, we can see, well, where's our code, right? Well, File Explorer, when you choose the type as PNG, it will only show PNG files. So if we're to open up all files, we can see all of our code here, as well as the other types of images. We're going to go back to PNG because we want to save it as a PNG, and we name this. We name this tic-tac-toe tic_tac_toe_cover. And that's all you do. You just go ahead and click save. And you can see it downloads it, and it should put it in the folder. So when we go ahead and we refresh this and we go into our folder here, we can see that we have tic_tac_toe_cover right over here. If we're to double click it, we can see that it opens up and it's tic_tac_toe_cover. So we can go ahead, do this with all three of them. So we need a tic_tac_toe, we need an X and an O. X PNG. Let's go with this one. Open image in new tab. Decently sized image. So we go ahead, we save image as, and we name this cross. We check it's PNG. We check over here the path. It's good. It's in the right folder. If we're not sure, we go ahead, we switch to all files. We see we have our code in here, so we're good. We go back to PNG because we want to save as a PNG, and we go ahead and just save this. Final one, we want O, also PNG, and we want to keep it a little uniform, so why don't we go with this one right here. We open image in new tab, we see how big it is. It's decently big. We go ahead, we save this image, we check it's a PNG, we check the path file over here, and we save this as circle.png. We don't know if this is the right folder. We check it, we see our code, and we're good. So that's the process we repeat for all three of the images. We go ahead and we click save. And just to kind of make sure that we have all of these, what we can go ahead and do is just open up our file explorer, go to Python mini projects, and check, alright, I got my tic_tac_toe covered, I got my cross, and I got my circle. So now we need to make sure we remember those names, because by remembering those names, that's how we make sure we don't mess this part up here. This over here is the initiating window. Within our code, this is in lines 56 to 58 of tic_tac_toe code. Right over here, right? And we don't want this one anymore. I think if you were to find this one online, it would just be completely blank like this, or they might just have some template file. We want to go back, we want to see, what did we name it again? We named it tic_tac_toe cover. You don't want to have any chance of messing up, so you can go ahead and you can double click the name if you want, and then you can just copy it yourself. This one's fairly simple, we don't need to do that. We can just type in tic_tac_toe cover, and it even PyCharm is super helpful. It knows exactly what you're looking for, and it just fills in the rest for you. This one is cross. We do the same thing, and when we look at that, we get it. And our final one is going to be circle, and we get that as well. So now we have all three of our pictures in here. So the steps that we had to follow were as follows. First thing we had to do was get the program from off of GitHub, and we had to put it inside our PyCharm folder. Once we had gone ahead and completed that step, so alright, so I'm seeing a lot of questions right now, so I'll just go ahead and finish this kind of review over this step real quick and then move on. So once you have the code copied over, it's the next step is to make sure you get your images, you save those to your computer in the right file and folder, and then you go ahead and you edit your code. So I see a couple questions here. First question is, I don't have the code. The very simple solution to this is just follow exactly what I do. Go over here, open up screen. First thing you want to do is go ahead, open up your Gmail. or whatever mailing you use, and you want to go ahead and search for Capital Robotics Club. Once you have that, there's a lot of emails that is sent. Some of them are reminders, some of them are other things. You want to look and go, alright, here it is. Python Mini Project Course Materials. You click on that. Once you get that, there's the body of text. You can go ahead and read that, but what you're looking for here is this, the GitHub repository. You just click on the link, you open that up, and it brings you to this folder again. Once you're at this folder, make sure you go ahead and just click on Tic-Tac-Toe. Once you click on Tic-Tac-Toe, you're greeted with 4 more files. You want to click on Tic-Tac-Toe again. You click on that, and you can go ahead, scroll down, and Control-C and Control-V into your program. That is how you get the code. Now, the second question is, I don't get the picture. And along with that, I don't have the folders, but when you have PyCharm downloaded, you don't know how to find the folders. So hopefully this step that I just went through was able to clear up Dragon PK and Andy Jin's questions of how you can get the code. It was sent in an email last week, so that should be around the dates. That is 1-12, I believe. So the second question by ZP, you don't get the picture and you don't know where the folders is. So this is another step. What you go ahead and do is you have these different settings up here. You want to click on File and you want to click on Settings. The shortcut to this is Control-Alt-S. We're going to go ahead, just click on Settings. And once we click onto Settings, we can see all of this stuff over here. We want to go down, we want to go past appearance and behavior, past editor, past version control, all the way to project. Once we click on project, we see these two different things. What we want to click on is the project structure, because the structure is essentially the file complex of where this is kept. Once we click on it, we see this. We have content root, we have all this kind of stuff. This is how we know exactly where it is. So if we want to know how to navigate this, very simple. We go ahead, we look at this, we move this to one side, we move this to right here. We start from C. C is going to be our computer. We click on this PC. That is going to be C, and we click on this. We can see that we start at C. We click on users because that is the next step it tells us to go to. We then click on Matthew, and we then click on Python Mini Projects 2. We search through, we search through, we search through, we find it right here. It's important we see that 2, not go to the original one. Once we click on 2, this is exactly where it's kept. We can see all of our pictures are right over here. So we have all these pictures, seems all good. There seems to be no problem, and this is kind of the steps that you should follow. If you still have trouble, ask again, and I'll see if I can go through this in a little bit more detail. So you can close out of all of that and follow the steps I said previously in this video. So we can go back. Another question. Okay. So you said you do not have the projects thing in settings. That might be a problem. So when you open up settings, you do not have this project over here. Well, the project is something that you have to create, and that is when you go ahead, instead of going to settings, you go on to click on new project. On new project, you will be able to install it in whatever location you want to. In here, it gives you this, and if you want to know where it's installed inside your file explorer, you can go ahead and copy this, and over here you can just go ahead and press delete and then paste it, and it will bring you exactly to wherever you want it to bring you to. Don't change anything over here. This is all good. There's no problem with any of this. And this is kind of how you create your first project. So that's why we call it a Python mini project, because it's stored within the project. So hopefully that clears that up. So Lion Gamer and Andy, both of you have the problem with Pygame. Well, last week I believe we were able to cover this, but it's fine, we can go over this again. Yes, you are going to need to create a new folder, ZP. That is necessary. Although I believe if you just go ahead and you name the new folder in the path when you create the project, it will go ahead and make the folder for you. So you don't need to manually make that folder. So answering the question relating to Pygame, so this is an essential step, so we got to make sure you guys get this. So we can go back here. Let's open up a new tab. Open that up. So once you have Python installed, once you have PyCharm installed, you need Pygame. Well, there's two ways you can go ahead and go about this. First way is go online, click how to install Pygame, blah 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 blah. Well, the second way is inside PyCharm. When you go ahead and you run this, it will give you an error. It will point you to this part of the code. There will most likely be a red underline under Pygame, or right here. And you're going to be, oh, that kind of sucks, right? There's an error in my code. Well, good thing is, oh my god, PyCharm is super helpful, right? All you need to do is hover over that red line. So if I were to do something wrong, say type an A here, it will go ahead and have a red underline. When I hover over it, it brings me to this box over here. Now, in this box over here, you'll see the error, you will see what's exactly in this error, and then you will see install and import this package. That is what you're going to want to click when you see the error above Pygame. And it will go ahead and install and import this package for you. There's no need for any of the hassle if you don't have PyCharm. And you know, this IDE, that perk of this IDE is just one of the many things as to why this IDE is one of the best, and why I use it. Okay, so ZP, I see you still have a problem with the project. That is perfectly fine. If this is your first time, obviously we're going to run into some issues. So when you go ahead, you make your new project. We are going to name this test project. I should probably change that. We're going to go ahead and name this test project. So at the end of this, remember, go to the end of this dash over here, just name it test project. And under test project, we can see it will store it right over here. So what we want to do is we just want to go ahead, Control C it. Actually, one thing might be wrong. Yeah, it actually goes ahead and just skips over PyCharm projects. I think that's just something that it does. This is going to be the exact right location, right over here. So you want to Control C that, and once you Control C that and you create it, it will go ahead and make a new project. It will take a little bit to load. This is what you should be greeted with when you first create your project. You'll have main. If you don't remember, the way you create a new file, you click on new, you click on Python file, and you name it, and you click enter. You don't want to click on any of these, and you navigate that by going up and down with it, up and down arrows. So now if you want to access it in File Explorer, that part that we copied and pasted, we can just go ahead and paste that in here, and it can open that up just like that. If we don't know how to do that, the way we go about it, we go ahead and we open up local disk C. We click on users. Oops. We click on users. We go to the one that we use. In that case, it's that one. And we look for the folder here, and we can see test project right over here. So that's how it works. Nothing much else to that. I'm going to look for more questions. So, Andy Jin, so you said my PyCharm is weird when I click the thing. It makes a weird sound and I can't do anything on it. So if we're going to go back here, in that case, I'll just go ahead and repeat the exact same thing except inside test project, the new one that we just made. So I will go ahead and show you guys that again. We're going to go open up test project. We're going to create a new file. It's going to be called tic-tac-toe. We click enter, we make the file, and we see over here we have this red underline here. We have two red underlines. Doesn't matter which one you click on. You want to go ahead, hover over this, and just click on that. Once you click on that, it will install it for you, and you'll see down here it will say installed packages Pygame successfully. And once it updates the skeletons, it should be good. And if you're to run it, the problem should be the fact that it doesn't have the images. Right over here, does not have the images. So that's to be expected because we didn't move the images into this folder, but I think that should answer your question on this. I don't think try to reopen it. I can't think of anything else. I mean, you could go onto their website and search for and frequently ask questions as to why I can't download packages. But yeah, that kind of I don't think anyone has any more questions for now. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the second part of this class today. I will let you guys look over the code for about maybe 2 minutes-ish, and the code part that we are going to be going over is going to be right over here. User click. This part of the code that I have highlighted. So 2 minutes to look over this, and then I will go ahead and go over it, and then I will answer questions on stuff previously and on this. Alright, so now that you guys have had a little bit, we can go ahead and move on to the questions. So, um, first question is, I can't find Pygame in my files. ZP, I am very glad you can see your folders now. And next thing is, it says no modules such as Pygame. So no modules such as Pygame is the error we get if we do not have Pygame installed within this this area, this folder. So again, you're supposed to go ahead and hover over this, and there will be some blue text down here that you click right over here. Once you click on that, you can go ahead and it'll click and you can download it, and you'll see the download progress about right over here. And that download progress is kind of the way you can gauge whether or not it's working or not. I have not seen an instance in which that doesn't work, but yeah, that's kind of interesting. So Andy Jin, you said you can't close PyCharm. That's probably because your computer's being overrun right now. That's the only possibility I can think of. So what I suggest you go ahead and do is you do Control-Alt-Delete, and then you open up Task Manager, and once you go to Task Manager, you click on the PyCharm task, and you go ahead and you end the task, and it should be on the bottom right corner of that window. And from there, I suggest you give your computer a little bit of a rest, because it's usually that your computer is being overrun. Here, I guess I can go ahead and show it. I'm not sure if it'll go ahead and end the stream though, so I guess I'll just search up a guide for you. Let's see. So meanwhile, if anyone has any other questions, go ahead and ask them right now. I'm gonna go ahead and try to find a guide for Andy. Alright, so these are the steps that you're going to want to take. So I can go ahead and copy this and put it into the chat, and then I'll pin it for you so you know what you are looking at. So message is a little too long for chat. Alright, that's not very fun. That is in fact never fun. We can go ahead and open that back up again. You can just go ahead and Google this for yourself. It's basic knowledge, very useful when you program in case you accidentally mess up and it takes too long to complete. Task Manager is a great way to end the program. So I see that you are having the same problem again, Dragon PK. So this is in response to your question or problem saying that there is no module such as Pygame. Once again, the way you go ahead and you get the module Pygame is you hover over this and it'll give you a box, and this box will have blue text right over here. You click on that blue text and it will go ahead and start downloading it with the loading bar right over here. I can go ahead, make a new project to show you exactly how that works. I will go ahead and create this new project. We will open it up in a new window, and this is the new project that it is creating. Once this new project is created, I will go ahead and show you exactly where to download it again. So it has this over here, and we want to make a new file. We're going to call it tic-tac-toe. No spaces. So we create the file, so we are going to need this program over here, and we paste that. And we come up here, and we can see we have red underlines here. So if we are to go ahead and run this, we click run tic-tac-toe, and we see no module named Pygame. Uh-oh. Well, we see this over here, and if we want to get a closer look, or rather exactly where it is, it should be located on line 2, the second word, Pygame. Over here, what you want to do is, you have your mouse over here, you just want to put your mouse right over here, right on top of the word Pygame. Don't click on it, don't do anything, just hover right over it. And once you hover right over it, you will see there is a thing that pops up. And this little thing, you want to go over it, you want to hover over it, because when you go away from it, it'll disappear. So you want to hover over it, and you will see there's this blue text over here. This blue text is what you want to click on. And once you click on it, you will see it is downloading it right over here. And you can see that it is downloaded, and there is no longer an error. The error now is going to be the fact that there is no picture, right? We have Pygame downloaded, and the picture is going to be on our other pie chart. So, hopefully that was able to answer your question. So, you, Andy, I'm very glad you're able to get that to work. Dragon, I hope I was able to answer your question. If you ever have, if you run into the problem again, I suggest you just follow through what I just said again. Okay, that is very good that it worked. Thank you for telling me that, so now I know that I have to go into more detail when I do these types of things. So, the next thing that is happening, so ZP, you said that you do not know where your Python folder is located. This is something that is very, very important to know exactly where it is located. Because once you know exactly where it's located, your life becomes a lot easier, so you don't have to keep on doing this step. The step is going to be clicking on File, Settings, right here. You want to go down the list until you see Project, and once you click on the project, it should be a folder that can pop out. You can click Python structure over here, or you can click it over here. It does not matter. I like clicking it here. You click on it, and you see you have this over here. You don't want to add any content root, nothing like that. You can double click this, or you can just copy this over here. And what you want to do is, oh, you guys couldn't see that. Man, OBS. Alright, let's repeat that step. Open up Settings, click on Python Mini Projects, and click on Project Structure. Under Project Structure, you'll find the path in which you can use it to follow it to File Explorer. Once again, you click on Local Disk C, you click on Users, because it says Users, right there, and right there, and that is the folder. What I suggest you go ahead and do, you click on this blank space over here, you copy this, you email this to yourself, you save it somewhere so you don't have to repeat this. It's an annoying step for me, at least. I don't like forgetting it. So either just leaving this open, so the next time you want to do it and you need an updated File Explorer, you can just open another one, you can copy this path, and then you can just paste into the new one. So, now to the actual code. So, the actual code is right here. This is user click. user click is something that's used in a lot of games. Any game, pretty much. You need to be able to have the interaction with the user, and the easiest way is using the mouse, because it is a built-in add-on that anyone who uses a computer has, right? So there's a couple things that are important with the mouse. The two things that stick out are going to be the coordinates, or the location of the mouse, and whether or not the click is being held down or not. Now understand, there are two clicks. You have your left mouse click and your right mouse click. Well, unfortunately, the computer does not care where you click, because as long as you're clicking, it thinks, alright, I gotta do this step. So over here, we get the XY coordinates of the mouse. So this is where it gets it, and you're probably wondering, well, okay, well, it's just asking for where is the click exactly happening, right? So it needs to know. Tic-tac-toe is designed as a board where it's essentially a grid. Oh man. It is a grid. And you have a lot of spaces in this grid. And if we were to go ahead and draw this as a coordinate plane, what we get is a Cartesian plane. Right here. And in this Cartesian plane, we can see that it splits it up into boxes. So it wants to know exactly where in the world this is located. Well, unfortunately, the way this program is designed is not like a Cartesian plane. The way it labels it is, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. Likewise, I believe it might be 1, 2, 3, although I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't really matter, it's just the way it's labeled. So essentially this box is 1, 1, this box is 2, 1, this box is 3, 1. Likewise, this box is 1, 2. Oh, can you guys see this? Oh, you guys can. Okay. This box is 2, 2. And this box is 3, 2. Oh, that was a bad 2. There we go. 1, 3, 2, 3, and 3, 3. That's a good summary of exactly what these mean. So, if I were to go and say I click over here, it determines that this is located at column 1 and row 3. It gets the coordinate, it determines it's 1, 3, and it can point itself into this box, and it'll say, you clicked on this box, that is your turn. You do the same thing with another. You click right here. It gets it. It says, alright, column is 1, and our row is also 1. So the coordinate is going to be 1, 1. Finds that, finds it's here, and that's where you go. That is essentially what this means. When it splits it up and it gets this x coordinate here, all it's doing is determining the column and the row. And it also has a base case in which you click off the board or something like that, and it'll go, hey, you're not clicking on the board, come on, that's not allowed, right? It will just not register it, and it'll just move on, and it'll ask for you to click again. And once it gets this coordinate, it will go ahead, it will tell the next method, draw XO, the row and the column. And then it will determine a check win, meaning, did someone win off of this move? So the steps that are happening is, the first step is this over here. This is going to be the determining stage of the coordinates. The second step is going to be actually drawing in the coordinates over here and over here. right? Actually drawing the X and O in. And the third stage is, say, tough game, but we want to check, alright, O just went over here. Did somebody win? I see a 3 in a row, so O wins. Right? That's how it works. Basic graph. Very simple kind of review over how exactly this works. So I'm going to go ahead, leave it on to this picture over here so you guys can just take a look at it. Alright. Well, so ZP, I see you say, so now that I downloaded my folders, I can't find the rest of my Python code that I worked on previously. Two things here. One is we are starting a new project, meaning that we do not need the previous Python code. But in the case that you do want to reference your previous Python code, it is located in a different folder. So it's not going to be within that Python project folder. This is why I like using this IDE, because it always has a safe way of knowing this is exactly where it's located. So DragonPK, I see you're asking a question on how do I add the picture like the O and the X. The way it goes ahead and it does this is, the way we go ahead and do this is explained at the very beginning of the video. So in case you don't want to watch it, I will go ahead and give a short explanation, and if you have any more remaining questions, feel free to ask them, and while I explain the step to DragonPK. So the things that you're going to want to notice are a couple of things. So let's open up a new Google tab. Alright, that looks good. So we're going to want to go over here. We want to search for, say, tic-tac-toe PNG. We go through here. We want to look for an image. Which one looks good for a cover? I kind of like this one over here. We'll go with this one. Alright. We want to click on Open Image in New Tab because we want to see how big it is. You know, that's big enough. And the next thing we want to do is save the image as. And once we save the image as, we want to go ahead and make sure it's saving into the right place. We want to make sure it's in our project folder. Otherwise, the program cannot access it. It cannot be in another place. It cannot be in the pictures folder. And in case you don't know where it is, you go here, you go into settings, you click on here, you click on structure, and you find it right here. We go back here. We want to make sure this is installed in the right place. If we see that is the right place, then we can go ahead and click save, make sure we have the file name correct. We do this for all three of them, and inside the code we change the location at line 56 to 58 right over here. This is the cover, this is the X, this is the Y, or the O. That's how it works. Let me go back to the code right here. Alright, so let's look for other questions. So ZP, I see you say you don't have local disk C. It's not always named C. It can be named other things. Whether that be it could be D, F, anything. It just has to be something semicolon. And you click on this PC in your File Explorer, and you'll see devices and drives. Alright, so this was a little longer of a class, lasted 53 minutes. That is good. That means we are asking questions, we are moving places. I am glad I could answer a lot of your questions this class. Remember, if you have any questions, if you don't know how to install Pygame, if you don't know how to do anything, if you have any problem with your code and you can't follow along, feel free to ask a question because I am always happy to help. So with that, I don't have anything else for today's lesson, and thank you everyone for watching. If you have another question, feel free to ask it. If you don't, go ahead, look through the code, make sure you understand what I explained inside that chart I made. Feel free to re-watch that part. So thank you for watching, and see you next week if you don't have any questions. Alright, it looks like there are no questions, so thank you for watching, and see you next week. Bye.